Do you have that and the thing that I hit with the gavel?
I don't have that.
Hello and welcome to the Rotary Club of Raleigh's December 4th, 2023 meeting. This is our last regular meeting for the year, and we've got something very exciting coming up next week, the holiday luncheon. So you'll hear more about that in a minute. Welcome to everybody in here. Welcome to everybody in Zoom. It's great to see all your Raleigh recipients and guests. So excited to introduce the guests. And before we do that, Tommy Telford is up there for the invitation.
This my feedback, that's when you start invitation and after that we'll follow. Father, as we gather here today, as members of Rotary, we pray that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render our service to fellow citizens and to our community as a whole. Keeping in mind always the enduring values of life, exerting our efforts in the areas and all those things which future generations can build confidence. Let us continue to strive to make a better world during this Christmas season. Let us remember everyone that's less than us and the blessed ways that coming to our contact we can be a part of their lives. Amen. Amen.
have a few guests today. Came in. Where did the guests? Right there. All right. If you all would mind standing up and introducing yourselves, say with your time and what brought you to the room. Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer Stewart. And in my day, I'm a marketing, so I work with the business here, and then I also work at Hasbro, product marketing.
Hey everyone, I'm Anthony Stewart, I'm a electrical electrician. With my day, I do electrical work and I run the business.
Hello, Anthony. Thank you so much for visiting and hoping you enjoy the program and would love to see you all come back. Any other guests or visitors? Okay, so Mr. Frank is now, would you mind $2.50? All right, and then I've got one, Frank. Yeah, that's fair. So today, 13 years ago, Paul suffered, my husband and I got married.
My number one ranked Michigan rank.
Hello. Don't have the dollar, I mean, you got excited in the lines happening.
Right. So don't forget about the Dementia Alliance of North Carolina buckets on the table in front of you, those red buckets, those collect spare change dollars that you have, you go, all that money is locally invested to support the Dementia Alliance in North Carolina. Coming up, as I said at the beginning, this is the last regular weekly Monday meeting for 2023. Next week, we have our holiday luncheon, and we're going to talk about that on the next slide. Then we have a break. We have a holiday break from the 18th of December, Monday, December 18th, through New Year's Day, January 1st. We'll not be meeting through January 1st. And the next meeting to start off 2024 will be January 8th. We've got a great speaker that day. Curtis Media Group, WTBR. I'm really grateful to use this station. So make sure you put that on your calendars. Definitely come and enjoy lunch here on our Mondays off, but we will not be meeting after next week. So speaking of the holiday luncheon, we are very excited about our holiday luncheon again at Carolina Country Club this year. Next Wednesday. Start gathering at the Carolina Country Club at 11:45. Coffee, tea, great apple cider. Enjoy that until about 12:10, 12:15. Then there'll be a great buffet lunch. We'll sit down, have our business meeting where next year's board will be introduced by Tom Packer and go through a couple of other business items. And then we have Never Home For, which is a barbershop quartet, who is locally based, and they're wonderful. They're going to do a selection of holiday and other songs for us. We'll adjourn at 1:30. We'll also be collecting toys for tots for the Marine Corps Toys for Needs program, and we'll be doing that outside the front doors. In Kurt Warner or Richard Avery will have a vehicle there, so please bring an unwrapped toy, and we'll be bringing, we'll be collecting canned foods to be dropped off at the food bank. So bring canned foods, and bring an unwrapped toy. The other thing is, I think this morning we had probably 70-some people that have not RSVP'd yet for the holiday luncheon, and we need to get those numbers to Carolina Country Club by this week, the 8th of this week. I think that's Thursday. So please RSVP today so we have an accurate count, and it will help us determine which room we're in. So this is a great event, one of our signature events for the year. Don't miss it. It's free for all Raleigh Rotarians and free for one guest. So bring a friend, bring a spouse, partner, come see them. It'll be great. Hey, with that, it's raffle time. And Peter Flory is smirking back there. I wonder why.
So big, Peter was so big, tickets to Monte, still no plan today. So we've got $65 in cash. It's a good day today. And our electrician is our guest today, and impartial Raleigh's at that drop down. And we can post the traffic, please. Thank you very much. All right, if you're holding 800-255-6-7. Well, I swear I'm not thinking.
Peter, thank you.
Double check. Yeah, that's the one.
Peter, word on that. You said are you gonna be out of the pump or not?
I'd be away for 5 minutes.
Well, enjoy and thank you for your support. Maybe in 2024, somebody else will win, but please keep on. Okay, service time, we're gonna have Kevin Summers come up and talk about health reading. A lot of exciting things happening.
Good. Thank you, Carrie. Yeah, Carrie's got some surprise class. We're off to a great start. I gotta admit that years past, this year is probably the longest period we'll do because Thanksgiving was so early. This should be 4 solid weeks. So, we started last Monday and we're bringing through the 23rd. 10 p.m. to 8 p.m. as a reminder, shifts are every half hour. And so if you want to sign up for more than one shift, there's some people that have signed up for multiple shifts adjacent to each other. So I'm assuming that would be 10. But if you want to be out there for the company, make sure you sign up for the all, every other shift. Every member is reminded to work 6 shifts. I'll remind you if you haven't signed up yet, we get lots of communications from that. But today, the good news is we've had 48 members from our club already signed shifts. And I think last week, there were, I don't have the number here, it was 27 different members. So I consider that very successful. And we've had 2 row drivers. Reminder, we have supplies of store and customer service. Unless something happens, we have Saturday. The Rotary roster and mini phone numbers. If you're looking for somebody who's supposed to relieve you, and you're out there, we can help with coming. There is a phone roster in the bag, so you can call up. Remember, every dollar that we raise out there, some people asked me a question last week, that was great, Jim, that you brought that up. Every dollar that we raise supports the local Salvation Army Christmas programs for children and families in need. So I strongly encourage you, if you're going to give a personal donation to the Salvation Army this year, please put your check out of pocket so you can credit for that. That'll help us in our competition. Last year we raised, somebody built around it last year or last week. The actual number was just under $17,000. So I looked. So we want to do better than this year, and we want also to keep this bell. I got to tell you a funny story. Here's the first one story last week. Peter, our illustrious winner, is also against the award this year for the best knowledge. And there's a picture of him up there. Yes, you can see him over there. Tuxedo, bow tie. So I challenge you guys to top that. You're not going to see me out there, but and he thought that the bell was something like this. So I guess in England, when you say bell ring, you're making a 35 bell. And when he showed up out there, he was worried that he was going to have, hurt his back and found out that the bell is actually this little guy. I think it's and embarrassed. That's a little funny story. And during, as I said last week, we covered all 50 out of 60 items we covered it itself. So as of 3 hours that we went out there, and with 30 that's 36 things. So this week, my final call for this week, you get my emails. I'm looking for help on Wednesday from 6 to 8, Friday from about 4:30 to 6. And then Saturday, there's still enrollment on Saturday, but today, tomorrow, and Thursday, we're looking really good. You know, we've got almost every shift filled up, so thank you guys. I really appreciate your help. And I'm Gary, what do you have? No, oh, there you go. This is the line, I guess. So Richard, I think, yeah, he's not here to defend himself, so he challenged that he was gonna beat me this year, so. I'm not trying to win any contest, but I just love running the project. I guess last week I sprang 16 hours, so. And that, you know, I enjoyed every minute of that. That's Carrie's, that's the top bell ringers from last week. There's still plenty of time. I know some of you haven't started your normal rate. There's a lot of people that would bring 15 hours this year, so. Thank you, everyone. Again, my goal is to get everyone involved in this project. If you can physically say it out, please sign up.
Can we give another round of applause for Kevin and all of the work? As for the challenge that Richard Averett issued, Kevin, he is out there right now doing like 3 or 4 shifts, so he might be needing in running. Yeah. Okay. The next service project that we have going on right now is the Vocational Service Leadership Award. And it's called the Payment Vocational Service Leadership Award. This is given out, has been given out from 5 Rotary Clubs in Raleigh since about 2015, so going on 10 years. And it is given to a non-Rotarian, local non-Rotarian that has done a lot both professionally and in service. Up on the slide, you see some past winners. Some of them are Dave from the Angus Farm, which over the years has employed hundreds, thousands of people at the Angus Farm. So they've done a lot for the Raleigh economy. Plus, they give quite a lot through their service with their walk archive. The other names you see up on the slide, they also have done a lot for Raleigh locally through business, through service. So be thinking about something that you know, that you have a personal relationship with in the Raleigh area that has done a lot, that is well accomplished, that has done a lot for their community. And think about nominating them. Send your nominations into Linda, and Linda, you have the application form, right? Yeah. So she can send you the application form, and there will be a committee that goes through our application by that. And this award is presented in the mid to late spring. So it's a big honor. And Wilson, even those of y'all that are new, he was a long time member of the club and just a fixture of the Raleigh community. Is a wonderful man. So think about that. Some of us is great names, and this is a big honor that we are privileged to be able to hand out. All right. Harrison, I believe we're going to talk about membership.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here. Happy Monday. Everyone on Zoom, thank you so much for being here. For those who do not know me, I'm Harrison Turner. I'm the head of our membership at Rotary Club Raleigh. And thank you so much for our guests for being here today. I hope that you find this place to be somewhere that is engaging in our community and has a huge passion at making an impact for the betterment of our community. Not too much on the membership front to update them today. We did have our service session last week. It looks like it was well attended. I've got a 2-month-old at home that kept me away from that, but we got some good snacks and things like that. So for the service social, this is something we do on a monthly basis. And for those that have been there, it's a great opportunity for us to get to know our fellow Rotarians who we might not have lunch with every week. There's also a great opportunity for us to invite someone that doesn't know about Rotary or hasn't been engaged with Rotary before as a kind of laid back way of introducing them to our fellow Rotarians and things like that. So as we go into next year, please start thinking of people that you know that would be great Rotarians that you'd like to have to come to that. And I would say lastly, as we go into 2024, and as we come into the Christmas season, thinking about gifts that we can give our friends, think about the gift that Rotary is giving you. Each one of us in this room probably would say, have a handful of stories that say, hey, Rotary has impacted my life in X, Y, and Z way. Share that pride, share that story with someone, and share the gift of Rotary with someone. It sounds pretty corny. Share the gift of Rotary, but seriously, Rotary has changed my life. the friendships I've made in this room, the impact that we've had in the community, it's changed people's lives. So please share that gift of Rotary this year and bring some to the next.
Thank you, Carolyn. Okay. It is birthday anniversary time, and it looks like there were quite a few anniversaries this week. A lot of people like the first week of December. So, first of all, happy birthday to Laura Brown. Happy birthday on the 8th, right? August the 12th. August the 12th. Okay, well, happy year anniversary. Happy anniversary from today for Paul and I. And Tommy and Kim, happy anniversary to you all on the 7th. Alfredo and Mary Jelena. Petra's future family is on the 8th. So, happy anniversary to everybody. Alfredo and Mary Jelena is 33 years. So, I'd like to introduce our main event for the day, our speaker, Dr. Reading. Before he comes up here, I'm going to read a little bit of your bio. He has quite the bio. He's done a lot of work, so I shortened it a little bit because we really want to hear from them. Not listening to you sit here and read something all the time. But let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Reading. Dr. Reading is a tenured associate professor, university faculty scholar, and the director of the Finland Agriculture Field Laboratory for NC State College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. He is the coordinator and chair for multiple USDA working programs, initiatives, and conferences. He is also a technical committee member of the USDA's Southern Regional Agriculture Center. Dr. Reading has over 12 million in research grants and contracts, but in addition to helping lead the NRST-8 multi-state patch program for the country. He has over 50 scientific research publications in book chapters and over 200 professional presentations. He also has served in the past and at present as a subject matter expert for USDA and NOAA. He has also served as a subject matter expert for the U.S. intelligence community regarding threats to U.S. food and agricultural resources, securing the seafood supply chains, importation of seafood products, and aquaculture. He has former training from U.S. Army. Is a former project director for aquaculture innovation, USAID/WS in Sub-Saharan Africa, and is a Foundation for Food and Agriculture Research New Innovator in Food and Agriculture. At NC State, Dr. Reading teaches AEC 510, Machine Learning Applications in Biological Sciences, and AEC 441/442, Biology of Fishes and Laboratory. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Reading as the president.
Yep. Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you for the time of work about the introduction. And I'm going to walk here. I'll be talking to you today about one of the programs that I run. It's called Striper Hub. The purpose of this group is to promote the aquaculture of hybrid striped bass in the United States, and then to expand the culture of striped bass that have developed in other species. This is a partnership really between the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the U.S. Department of Commerce, in particular the National Ocean and Atmospheric Administration, important work here in the state of Carolina with the agriculture laws. So I'd like to just begin by saying that the fish we'll be talking about is the striped bass, different fish in the eastern part of the United States. Pardon? Rockfish. Yeah, rockfish. It's got other names like that. This is a fish that lives in the ocean for part of its life, but also can live in the freshwater rivers. It's where those spawn every springs of rivers, saltwater or freshwater. Another fish we're talking about is the white bass. This is a freshwater fish that lives in rivers and ponds and lakes, and it's in the same genus as the striped bass. And for many years, agencies in North Carolina and South Carolina hybridized those two fish together to create what we call a hybrid striped bass.
And that is fishing stock and freshwater reservoirs for recreational fishing, but also it's farms for the food. And so this is an industry that started here in North Carolina and Eastern North Carolina, Baltimore County, back in 1986. Research at NC State University, funded by North Carolina Fisheries. So this is the birthplace of what we call hybrid striped bass. And continue to work on it today. This is a map of the eastern part of the United States, and the light blue shaded left panel, where those numbers are, is the native distribution of striped bass. This is where they live along the coast. The dark blue shade up there towards the north, very funny, all the way up in Labrador. That's where the striped bass are found now. They extend part of it has to be climate change, increase in temperatures, currents. So the fish actually migrate to the further north. You're sort of that southern. Back in the 1980s, the striped bass was a very well-known fish, the rock fish, people recognize it. It was very lucrative commercial fishery. That fish was practiced, it was overfished, and there was a lot of dams and impoundments put on rivers that prohibited its ability to reproduce. And so back in the 80s, the government had the idea of producing these hybrid striped bass and farming them for food production because it could no longer commercially fish. So you look at, for instance, the bottom panel here, that asterisk 1986 shows the beginning of the hybrid striped bass aquaculture industry, and that's the number of pounds produced here by farmers. And what we're seeing right now is striped bass have recovered, but over the last several years, the populations have been declining. And so we're seeing a similar situation right now before we saw back in 1980. So enter us. Looking at striped bass aquaculture and say, all right, it's time for us to now start growing more fish, knowing that the commercial fishery is perhaps restricted as part of the big plan. So we were funded by NOAA and USDA, private club, to help with this, at least as part of producing fish on farm. And so we were one of the only groups in the entire country. This is what we call a national aquaculture consortium club. We represent several universities across the part of the United States, and we were the only group that actually won all 3 grant offerings that were provided by NOAA over the last couple of years. So we want to try to look at all aspects of striped bass and hybrid striped bass culture and how to help provide this information to farmers grow the fish. We also work with the natural resources agencies, for the Wildlife Resources Commission. They use our genetic line of striped bass bred at NC State University, and so all the hybrid striped bass stock throughout the state of North Carolina originate from our genetic line at NC State University, and there's some example reservoirs within stock. So the Striper Club really is a partnership, again, between NOAA and USDA, and also involve researchers such as myself, other professors, and we also involve the industry. So farmers, right? We want to make sure that our information gets out to farmers so they can actually produce the fish and bring them to CP markets. So there's 4 games that I'm going to sort of walk you through. The first one was to sort of establish ourselves and to sort of explain to you what we are. So all the states here have a star on it as a member of the Striper Club organization. So we have faculty at Purdue University, Ohio State University, Kansas, Cornell, University of Maryland, as well as Auburn University. And then we also work then with the U.S. Department of Agriculture and then with sea grant agencies in those same states. So we do extension work with sea grant, we do research work with USDA, and also have to do land grant universities of those same states. So really, we're an Eastern United States group. We also work with the community colleges in the state of North Carolina for vocational training folks on striped bass aquaculture, and also on seafood processing and seafood support industry. So for those folks, we have done executive work. So these are some of the members we highlight. We want to look at what we are. This is the group. We look at various aspects of aquaculture. So this is a whole industry approach. We look at everything from harvesting and marketing, feed, nutrition, physiology, business economics, system engineering, workforce training, breeding genetics, and juvenile production, as well as communications and outreach. And so this is our core group. We involve industry partners as well as then academic and government associates. So our second objective here is to show that we can actually produce these commercially. We can get them out into the industry to raise on the farm.
I also run the Chemical Aquaculture Field Laboratory in Beaufort County. This is in Aurora, North Carolina, right on the County Sound. This is what we call a semi-commercial scale aquaculture facility. It's about 40 acres. And it consists of large tanks as well as earthen ponds to grow fish. We have the only group in the world that has domesticated striped bass and white bass. They're available. We bred them in NC State University for 20 going on 30 years. This cultivar is developed by NC State. And every year, farmers will come to our facility to pick up broodstock animals that they then bring back to their facilities, and then they produce those animals on our farm. So we see the entire industry across the country, and right now we're looking at about a $50 million a year farm gate value for farm raised right bass. So we got farmers in 20 states. I always tell folks who are out in North Carolina, please come out and visit us. I live out there at the site in April and May, so we'll be glad to give tours and show folks how we do what we do out there, and you can see how to farm fish. So there's an invitation there. The genetic stocks we've developed at NC State University for striped bass grow twice as fast as the wild striped bass. So we've done genetic improvement by just selectively breeding the biggest fish. And after 20 years, we got a fish now that grows twice as fast as the wild origin. So this is a genetic line that's been created at NC State University. It's compiled with the Office of Innovation for basically patent. To give you an idea, we could grow a 3-pound market size striped bass in 24 months. We grow 5-pound fish in captivity in 3 years. 2 years to 3 years. So 2 years for a 3-pound fish, 3 years for a 5-pound fish, and that's a pretty good size fish. You go to the seafood market, oftentimes that's a very good size fish for what we call a fillet market, and also for restaurants. We've also seen with striped bass and white bass genomes. This allows us to then do further research on breeding, so we can advance or accelerate our selective breeding program. We did this with you at the top of that. We work with the NC Department of Ag and Consumer Services, as well as economists, for instance, Matt Park at the University of Maryland, to produce documents on the economics of farming striped bass. And these are available online for farmers or investors to look into. They're looking at raising these fish on a property. We got information on marketing, things like business models, etc. And so objective 3 then is to develop marketing strategies, market economics, particular business models, and things like this. And so our facility out in the North Carolina is what I call semi-commercial scale. We try to do things at scale that you can see on a commercial operation. So this isn't a handful of fish in small tanks. These are the types of equipment that we use to harvest our fish. We harvest 10,000 pounds a day, for instance, as an example of one of our grow out studies. All of the things like dress out weight, what is the yield of feed off of carcasses? We're talking about thousands of them. And so, for instance, this picture is for harvesting fish out of a large tank. That's about the size of a swimming pool, over 10,000 gallon tank that we grow those fish in. And then what we do, depending on a slurry of ice and water, the chill kills them as the preferred method of harvesting. And then we take forklifts and load those back on that 18-foot trucks. Those fish then would go to Raleigh, North Carolina, process, and then enter into the seafood market. So we're looking at how to do this at the market scale. We work with local seafood. Years ago, many years in a course that I taught at NC State University, 2 NC State University graduates. We still work with them. They own a seafood company here in Raleigh. They own a restaurant in Durham. And so I've got some information up here, their business cards in that. So one of the things they do for us is process these fish, look at things like shelf life, and look at dress out yield, and also they collect information for us on consumer preferences. So how is the product being received? They also distribute to all the restaurants here in Raleigh. So if you go to a fancy restaurant that's serving seafood, especially if it's not during striped bass spawning season in the spring, those fish are NC State University fish coming from locals. So you can look them up on the website right now. They're retailing boneless skin on blades for $23 a pound. They've got a station at the Raleigh Farmers Market, as well as then several restaurants here. They have markets in Raleigh, Chapel Hill, Charlotte, and so they're statewide.
This is really sad. They call our fishing the wolf tax striper or ECSU striper. So the app at a restaurant, the supermarket, that's what they're called. Whether they come from us at our university or will come from our private sector cooperative farmers. We were featured in Raleigh magazine a few years ago. Again, this partnership with local seafood, again, looking at the restaurant market in Raleigh, North Carolina. So this is a picture there talking about North Carolina State University fish being bred, and then also going to seafood markets here in the area. And we work also, for instance, with other extension groups like New York Sea Brand. They did all the product nutritional information content. They analyze the fish for calories and nutritional information like fat content, things like that. So this is information that we provide to our distributors that they can hand out to customers by the product. We also engage in consumer preference surveys or sensory analyses. So we poll the general public. What do they think of the fish? How does it taste? As well as the trained professionals, chefs, and other seafood persons. And they collect the information to help us better look at modifying our cultural practice and also to give that information to farmers. As far as so this is a outreach event that we did at the Market City Seafood Festival and the Ad Commission and Chefs. We do this with the North Carolina. We also look at things like permitting policies and regulations. Most people don't realize it's complicated to raise fish. It's even more complicated to try to sell it. States like New Jersey and New Hampshire have commercial fisheries. It's illegal to sell farm-raised striped bass because they've got a mechanism in their state government to actually recognize farm-raised fish. So we work with, for instance, Seafood Law Center and Farm Bureau to inform folks on this. You cannot sell a striped bass in the grocery store in New Hampshire. The game board will come in and give you the citation. So other states like this, North Carolina, we can work with the natural resource agencies and we can identify a streaming set of paperwork that we can use and facilitate the economic activities. So to give you a particular example here is gill tags in North Carolina. If you go and catch a wild striped bass in the Atlantic Ocean, you have to tag it through the gill. To check that with the game, right? It's considered a wild product. This is for wild caught fish. Our fish, of course, are farm raised. So how do we deal with this? Well, we involve, for instance, the NC Department of Ag and Consumer Services. We've got a paperwork there. So we have proof that these fish didn't come from a natural resource, that they were raised on farms, and therefore we don't have to gill them. We just go ahead and provide the game board, the Fisheries with proper information on the origin of that fish and where it was farmed at. So that leads us to the last objective here, objective 4, staff communications, outreach, extension, and training. Things like what I'm doing today. Again, thank you for inviting me to come here to talk to you about this excellent program. Last fall, we presented at the Coastal Conference at NC State University. We worked with the Coastal Resilience Conference in the state of North Carolina to look at how can we better conserve our natural resources, our coastal resources. We were one of the keynote speakers here at this event. Similar, I gave a talk like this to the audience, but also then we served striped bass for lunch. So everyone in the room got to eat the farm-raised striped bass after they heard the talk. So it's a fantastic opportunity that I got to speak at, and everyone got to taste exactly what I'm talking. I said, fish taste good. They literally were eating on the plate. Right? Last year, NOAA came out with this 5-year outlook plan. This was basically Director Cott from the National Sea Grant Office and then David Blackrock from the National Marine Fisheries Service Office put together a 5-year strategic plan for offshore for the United States of America. And we were honored actually to be featured here as one of the example groups. This particular goal is to support economic viability and growth in the United States. We were given, we were showcased as one of the example groups to follow and model that. So the work we've done with striped bass has been recognized in Washington, D.C. as very important. We've got a lot of success stories to tell. This was our group here, a group photo at the chef and cooking demonstration this past October at the Morehead City Seafood Festival. We were in the Ag Commissioner's stand. Again, demonstrating how to cook seafood, looking at seafood safety, and then talking about how farm-raised striped bass is happening in the state and where to get it. And we had chefs and also demonstrate how to cook. So I've got some recipe cards and things up here if folks want to get some, along with business cards as well from seafood. One of our farmers, Dr. Luna, usually comes out and talks to the public. He tells a story about how the fish are raised.
We usually get a lot of questions, if they come in, for instance, wild caught versus farm raised, this whole thing. And we've got all the people in the group to answer questions. And so oftentimes it's moderated by a executive or something like that. And then we've got a master chef there who's trained, who knows how to cook seafood, who also answers questions about how to prepare the seafood and also seafood safety. So we answer a lot of questions with the public. So for instance, Chef Carolyn, who's a professional chef this year at the Morehead City Seafood Festival. We also work with Barry Nash, who's a seafood specialist at North Carolina Seafood. If you're interested in more striped bass recipes, check out Mariners menu online. There's probably 2 or 3 dozen new striped bass recipes we've come up with in the last, say, 12 months, 24 months. So lots of different recipes out there. This is an example of sauteed striped bass and garlic butter. Again, we've got some recipe cards up here. This is information we provide also consumers. When they go to buy a product, they get access to the recipes as well. So how to prepare it, things like this. We also work with NC State Extension Homegrown Series. They develop their own recipes, and also these are short YouTube video links that they show you how to cook it. So it's actually a how-to cook striped bass videos. So check out the Homegrown Series as well, as well as the both developers recipes. We also participate in the North Carolina Aquaculture Development Conference every spring. It's usually the end of February, beginning of March, and it's in Newburgh, North Carolina. And so Chef Smoke is another one of our chefs that works with striped bass. And again, just like before, we usually provide the striped bass for the dinner or for the luncheon. And this is a conference with usually between 200 to 300 attendees. So a fair number of folks will go there together to talk about the importance of striped bass. More local here, in some cases it's in Raleigh, but this year, earlier it was in Durham, is the Winter Seafood Jubilee, again, put on by Local Seafood, our longtime partners. So if you want to get some local seafood from North Carolina, they usually host this sometime in March. This particular time was over in Durham this past spring. But we're usually there, and for instance, they were serving striped bass this year. They usually have microbrews out there and bands and things like that, and it's like a seafood spread. And so wrapping this one up here for our accomplishments, we also work with the community colleges, workforce training. We've got a product now that we've created, we've got it into the markets, it's selling, it's recognized. Now we've got to find people to help with the efforts. And so we work with David Serino at college. As we've done, we've trained well over 100 students in vocational seafood and aquaculture practices and technologies. So these folks are ready to go off in the workforce, either work for instance, a company like Local Seafood, help process the seafood, fish cutters, people who transport the fish in trucks, things like that. So vocational training of students we work with, as well as the culinary arts program. So again, training folks, chefs on how to cook seafood so they can then have employment here in the restaurant industry in the state of North Carolina. So these are some of our outreach events that we do as well. Morehead City Seafood Festival with Carolina Cooker, things like that. So we do a lot of great kind of outreach events. We're featured in a lot of popular press articles as we hear North America, articles on pure strengths, right bass we work on. The market opportunity in the city is strong and largely untapped. It's for the taking. We recognize this is why we're doing business. So we're featured in files. So just to add one last piece of information here, as you said in the opening, I am an advisor to U.S. intelligence. I work mostly in the realm of press and food and agriculture resources. I'm advisor to NOAA, USDA, as well as Homeland Security and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. And I've spoken in Washington, D.C. on many occasions looking at food supply chains, and seafood in particular is a problem. Most people don't realize 9 out of 10 seafood items consumed by an American is foreign. We do not have the ability to produce our own seafood. It's in excess of $17 billion a year in trade rates. Now, it's number 2. It's the number 2 imported national product, second only to oil. Seafood's a big deal, right? Big deal. And so it's a problem because this is a component of our food supply that we as a nation cannot make. It's like one of the only things we can't make. So I spoke about this. And so in 2020, the White House issued an executive order on promoting American seafood competitiveness and economic growth. And if you look at, say, the national security strategy from the White House, you see here food security is national security, and they're looking at food security being defining factors in that stage of human history, seafood is an important component to this, right? Because we're looking at our inability to increase that product. And last year in the springtime, for the fall, the Homeland Security, or the National Security Council released this new NSM on strengthening food and agriculture in the United States of America. Again, seafood being a major component to this. So we're looking at increasing our seafood production through fishing as well as then fish. So aquaculture is a strong component. So with that, in my email signature, I have a link to this video here, where does our seafood come from? It's a 10-minute long video put together by the NC State University Provost Office that it provides additional information about what I'm talking about with seafood importation. Where are we getting our seafood from? So feel free to check this out. It's Wolfpack or Wicked Problem Wolfpack Solutions. Where does our seafood come from? And also then I've got a longer list of folks to acknowledge. But I could probably do 2 or 3 slides like this, but really it's to highlight that we work with government agencies, both state and federal, and then private sector partners, including those that are actually farming fish or those that work in seafood support industries, as well as that rivers and other institutions. So you'll see a whole smattering here of private sector groups that work with us. And with that, I'd like to just end this slide here. It's a photo of me feeding striped bass pond with my 2 kids. And I feel it's very important for everyone to understand where it comes from. And this is sort of Indian. So you can see this is how you can farm fish. And people never really think about farming fish like farm cows or chickens, but you can do it. And this is an example of a pond, for instance, you can put fish in. And then harvest them out in our particular case. We can harvest them out after about 2 years of growth. So that's the extent of my talk here. And I'll open questions. If you want to know more about aquaculture in the state of North Carolina, here's a WRAL documentary that came out last year or the year before. It's a $60 million a year industry here in the state of North Carolina. So this was put together by WRAL. Feel free to watch that. I think it's like 30 minutes long there. So with that, thank you very much. I'll answer your question.
Yeah, I have a quick question. I noticed you had a bunch of logos up there, everything, that's obviously distribution, but it does say you all like Cisco or US Foods out there. Are you guys not on the revenue? If so, is that strategic for you guys?
Yeah, so that's a good point. Cisco, US Foods, and things like that, those guys are big, right? That's like so I believe we have talked with them. The smallest orders that they've been see is something from the line that we can week. And so that's primarily why they're not there.
Where is the place that we could come for that tour that you mentioned?
Very good. The place that you can go for the tour. That is out. If you're familiar with Little Aurora, Carolina, go all the way up to Little Washington and keep going. We are actually all the way out at the end of Hickory Point. So you got to drive all the way through the nutrient phosphate mine and let the ferry. And so I always tell folks, you got my email. I'm out there in April and May. I always tell people, email me. We're there. It's a farm, so we work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on the farm. And so that's where it's at. And so I say drop a sign that out there. Yes.
I'm an avid fisherman. I will testify that striped bass is delicious fish to eat, and unusually enough, even the very, I agree that that is this when you catch 50 pound spider off the coast. And you see it roll on top of the skaters and a 50 pound spider. Just as good as a small spider. It's pretty unusual, amazing. But I got another question, right? And I'm glad I sort of fisheries, fish community. I fish a lot of thin rays.
Yes, I know.
But a couple of things. One, what would the startup cost be to start an agriculture with like that? How long would it take? Did they get government subsidies? How is all that going to be all possible in your own community? And another question that comes to my mind is recreational fishery. You know, obviously we put a moratorium on fisheries like that after we use river bass currently. With the idea of trying to get females larger over that period of time, so we'll have the root stock currently for almost all, you know, the fish is it actually getting to do something? No. Why can't we use some of your fish to get larger? Do that also, would that be an issue? Are they too expensive? to Put in recreational dams.
Very good.
Okay, I know that.
There's a lot there. I'll say, because our fish are genetically improved, we didn't do any GMO thing, it's just through selective breeding. When we look at the way the striped bass fisheries management state of North Carolina, we are part of what's called non-migratory stuff, right? So the reason why we have not been regulated is because it's non-migratory. Migratory management fisheries service, right? You've got two hatcheries in the state that support the supplement stocking stripers. You've got a lot of hatcheries south part of the state, and you've got an Evanston hatchery, which is federal. Now, the feds do not agree on the part fish to stop in the state. And so we had that conversation. We probably run several of those calls this past spring with the National Fisheries Service and also posting a lot of special meetings. Right, that, but it's not just state of North Carolina, it's facing issues, it's definitely the bay, it's like the plate. And so, it was actually suggested that they use ours, and they do use ours for the parents, right? Again, that's a hybrid fish, it's artificial kind of thing, and they're going into them systems, and so there's no concern about genetic problems in the fish. But we have entertained that, and they are there. The agency has the money to do it. Especially if they show that, like, for instance, take your river that's very low and no use. Harness can have something. I'll say, it's even wrong, it's hot. And so if it turns into a quick fishery where there is no natural river in it, then there's no problem. That would be a situation that can use because our two will twice as fast as probably the other CP.
What's your starting thoughts on the phone?
Oh, sorry. Start with, so that's a good question. We're still putting that a lot of these economic we've got plans. We're looking right now, I don't know off the top of my head, but I'll say this, most of our current farms right now, we've got 2 within the state, and we've got then 20, we've got farmers in 3 states of Canada. Sorry, 2 within the state who are doing straight striper, we've got 6 that are doing better striper. Most of those folks are actually moving back. So they actually had an property, they just didn't, you know, they were sitting on the ground. So what they did was they converted a lot of land to the earth with ponds to grow the striper, but they couldn't do the back. So it's hard for us to say what's the startup cost of the outright, because most of the folks coming into this with me, right? Because you know that that's one of the biggest fault, right? And so I don't know offhand, I would say that scale wise, I believe you're looking at probably 40 to 60 acres. Is the minimum size to get that right. So you're looking at that on the site. Yes.
Striper fisheries on the East Coast for 30 years, that means stop. And is that why?
That's a good question. So part of the problem is it's got a complicated life history. So the adults live in the ocean, and then they come into the river to spawn. If you have a river like Cape Fear River, you know where Lock and Dam is. Stripers are going up there to spawn in Cape Fear. So part of it all has to the same thing is happening to all the Pacific Sound mines, right? You've got all the dams of the Columbia River system on west. It's the same kind of all the Pacific Sound. And so that's one element. But typically speaking, you know, fish, it's biology. Stuff is really pretty resilient. And it's usually when more than one thing goes on where you start seeing big problem. So if you take, say, for instance, habitat modification, and you add overfishing, then that's a good big factor. And then let's say you had a third PFAS flowing into your river, that's a third water pollution. And so there are several reasons why it's struggling. And if you look at it, it's not just here, it's in my previous the map in the United States. Climate change is the fourth one because the water temperatures here, these fish are actually kind of cool water fish, but I'm going to say, speaking metric, 18 degrees centigrade is like their happy place, which is like about 64 or 65 degrees Fahrenheit. When you start seeing warmer water in the Atlantic Ocean, they're swimming, they're migrating. So we see them, for instance, too often. And so I think it's a complicated game. But I'd say impoundments on the rivers, water pollution, and then so let's go over Jim over here.
Yeah, so, aquaculture is, I mean, I think it's a new term for a lot of people in the room, so I just want to acknowledge that first. And second, it's the world's fastest growing food sector, am I right?
You are the fastest growing food sector in the world. And to be quite honest, the United States, we're having these conversations now. Everywhere else in the world, I think you mentioned that I was former project director of Sub-Saharan Africa. Everywhere else in the world, they're on the same sheet. There's more water on the surface of the earth than there is land. So if you're going to expand food production, it's important.
So my question is on microalgae for sustainable feeding. Is your project also look at that for feeding, or how does that all work? I'm interviewing for a conservation job, so that's why I'm asking.
It's ulterior. So that's great. Microalgae are one we call plant-based proteins that are added to the diet. All the fish prepared diet. That's one area. One of the ones we're really working with right now is with acne, seafood processing in North Carolina, the largest where they do all the smoked product and the smoked salmon. We've been taking all the leftover carcasses and skins, and then we've been processing those with the public science, the nutrition program, to look at recovering seafood waste, seafood offal, and turning it into animal feeds, including fish feed. So that's the one we're applying to even more of, less so of the bio. But there are folks that are working on it. Finish this one. Yes.
I was curious as to what the genetic benefits are in the hybrid striped bass, why these were just the regular striped bass, why would you cultivate the hybrids?
That's a good question. So this goes back like history of Carolina. So the hybrid striped bass, they started doing this in the Carolinas back in the 1960s. Right? So we had Monk's Corner, which was right outside of Charleston, South Carolina. And we had a 12-inch fish hatchery here. And so they were working on hybrids primarily for one major reason. Spawning striped bass females, getting the females to ovulate their eggs, very, very and the Fish and Wildlife Service has been trying to do this at scale for a long time. They chose to make hybrids because the female white bass are much easier to ovulate. So they can actually strip the eggs out of the female white bass and not be able to female striper, and they can make a fish that is almost a striper, but not. Because their target was always to do striped bass, not the hybrid. So that was one of the reasons they did it, simply for the technical feasibility. But the second is during the first year or two of life, the hybrids have very good disease resistance. They have a pretty good growth, which you see in a lot of other hybrid called the splice corn. The hybrid effect also called the heterosis effect in genetics. The problem is that it's sort of, so if we can, for instance, selectively breed our stripers over time, our stripers are actually now better than the hybrids. But if you just took a wild striped bass out of the water, hybrids would increase that striper as far as growth plans. That's partly partly to do with the technical feasibility of spawning the fish in captivity, but also then compounded by, hey, we need to jump start here and knowing that we stop those fish out of the water lake. Most of them don't live out there for more than a few years anyhow, and so you're getting more into the product. Yeah.
Do you have any programs for kids? I've got a 10-year-old grandson who'd rather fish than breed.
So I'll say this, we don't have anything at large scale for the children, other than like this, any of these large public events that we do, like the Morehead City Seafood Festival or that, and we'll be glad to talk to them. On a smaller scale, I usually always do 1 or 2 trips a year with like Cub Scouts or scout groups at our facilities. And so we do invite some of the like K through 12 age folks out. But as you saw in the photo, a lot of our volunteers are oftentimes people in high schools and things like that. And so that's what I would say to do, is go to some of those bigger events and to get them involved in that. Like the state fair, the Wildlife Resource Commission, the DNF are gonna have their little setup there, and you can go and talk to the biologists, and we're very close with them, so. One more. Yes.
Farm raised wild caught, it's always different color. What's called that?
So, yes, and so in particular, if I talk about salmon.
Yeah.
So the salmon is the funny thing. There are problems, you know, like what makes carrots orange and sweet potatoes yellow. Problem is naturally occurring pigments. And shellfish, you ever boil shrimp, they turn red. That's a problem in shrimp. A lot of the salmon will eat those naturally occurring crustaceans that contain orange or red colored pigments in the wild, like that shellfish. When we farm raise these things, of course, they're in a tank or a cage or a pond or something, and they're not eating that wild stuff. They're getting, we're parenting with prepared diet, which is very similar to what people carry. And so what happens is that they don't get those natural occurring pigments. They have to add them to the diet. And what they do is oftentimes they're sourcing it from plant-based stuff, which is carrots and soybeans and things like that, which aren't quite red, they're orange. And so that's why the farm raised salmon appears orange, because that's included in the diet, and it's not like the white color. That's a good question. I get that a lot. I get that a lot.
Thank you so much for joining us. Lots of questions. I know there were more. Would you be willing to stick around another 10 minutes or so?
Yep.
Okay, and I picked up on the recipe cards. They look amazing, so don't miss out on those. And thank you for coming to speak to us. They're so appreciated.
Thank you.
Especially for your March, what did you say, March and April? when
Yes.
you're Really working on this.
You are correct.
And I think we need a Rotary field trip out there.
Yeah. I think that'll be fun. We actually hosted the annual farm road. Yeah, so, yeah.
We'll have to do that. We'll have to take a road trip. All right, do not forget RSVP to the holiday luncheon today. So we have the right number of people and to be in the right room. And don't miss it next week. I hope to see everybody there and the friend and family member of y'all there too. So could everybody rise with me and repeat the four-way test? And the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and meetings adjourned. Hello.